Hey everyone, Wendy O here. Welcome back to the Hotep Jesus YouTube channel. This is our Wednesday night live stream where we talk about love and marriage, relationships, all different kinds of crazy stuff. It's a nice little mix up to what Hotep's got going on the rest of the week. How are you doing tonight, co-host?
Oh, doing quite. No, my mood got taken down a little bit. I got people impersonating me on the new conservative social media network that I refused to join. And I just found out about this, and whoever it is trying to communicate like Hotep Jesus. One of the recent messages they posted says, Republicans censor my first reply with downvotes. So they're trying to like impersonate me. Then the
Hmm.
next tweet says Trump needs 2016 third parties to win. So they're trying their best to tweet like me. They're doing a horrible job at it, but they're trying to mimic my sentiment. Um, so yeah,
So that
but
actually happens a lot in crypto. We get a lot of impersonators. I've had dozens of them. So, but that's kind of, I mean, they're doing it because they admire you, and they're doing it because you have a voice. So at the end of the day, even though it's annoying, it's a pain in the ass. You gotta take one on the chin. You gotta take it in stride, and just know it's because you're doing the right thing, and it'll get resolved.
yeah. I just want the people at Parler to
Take
delete
it
the
down.
account. Yeah, or if you're gonna have my at name reserved, remove people's ability to impersonate me. And you look at their channel and it's supposed to be something about talk to real people, and it's just like, oh, well, it's not really me. But anyway, um, this morning I was a keynote speaker for Wayra AI and Blockchain Accelerator.
Nice.
Yeah, they're based out of the UK, and that was pretty freaking interesting. That was fun. It's just kind of funny to see that Hotep Jesus gets love overseas, but I can't get love in my country. But I'm used to it, being a rebel that I am. A lot of people are afraid of me, but it was a great experience. Um, there was like this speed dating aspect to it, but
Okay.
I'll send the app to you. It made me think of your relationship app idea.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what happened was, you have 3 minutes, and it'll say connect. You hit the connect button, and you connect to a random person. And we were talking business because this was about AI and blockchain and startups. So you talk for 3 minutes. It has a countdown, and it's like at 1 minute it highlights, and then it counts down, and then it goes to the next person. So I was like, wow, this would be really good for like a speed dating service. But I think it's a good way to maybe test out the validity of your idea.
Thanks. That's awesome. Yeah, blockchain is it's a very interesting space. There's a lot of drama and stuff that happened in our industry over the week. It was just stupid like Twitter drama, BS and whatnot. But I did my interview with McAfee on, I want to say it was last Friday. We live streamed it. We had a great conversation. His wife Janice popped in. She is effing hilarious.
Okay.
He's so funny. He pulled his shirt up. He's got a tattoo on his chest that says "Don't fuck with your wife." And he says he wakes up every morning. He looks at his chest and he remembers, "Do not fuck with my wife. Do not fuck with Janice."
McAfee's a wild dude.
Yeah.
Um, damn, I missed that. Oh, I had my thing. What time was that Friday?
I think it was, I think it was at 12, or no, was it 9 a.m. PST? So it was, yeah.
Oh, okay. So like noon my time.
Yeah, it was a really good interview though. Like we talked a little bit about his project and, censorship and like how, cuz he's on the run. Him and Janice have been on the run, I want to say for the last like 4 or 5 years or something, from the US government, and they've been in all these different countries, all these different places. They keep getting caught and then they just keep running, and he's very interesting. So he got to come on, he got to shill his project. We talked about privacy, his and obviously his ghost project. But one of the cool things that they're doing, which I think you might find interesting, and he's creating a brand new SIM. It's called the eSIM, to where you don't even have to have it registered with a phone company. So it's like completely separate, to where people can get his ghost phone or whatever it is, and use his DEX on it, use cryptocurrency on it, and essentially be a ghost, be very, very private.
So he's launching a startup while the United States government is hunting him down.
Oh, he has multiple. Yeah.
That's so gangster.
He has a project. It's called McAfee Ghost. It's a privacy coin. Because he doesn't use fiat anymore. He has to use cryptocurrency because he's on the run. So he uses Monero and he uses Dai, and that's what he pays with his. He pays everything in cryptocurrency, and then he's got his exchange, which is a DEX, a decentralized exchange, is very different than Coinbase because Coinbase you got to put all your, your
KYC.
KYC. So he's got that where, and then they've got the phone that they're doing. They've got a couple other projects that they're working on, but he's the man gives no f's, and his I Janice is dope. She keeps a man young, and she told like one of the questions in the AMA was, what are you going to do when you kick the bucket? Are you training somebody else to take over? And he's like, I can't kick the bucket. He's like, my wife has my balls and she will cut my balls off if I kick the bucket. Because she actually tried to kill him a couple times.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Why? Was he cheating or something?
You know what, she wilds out a little bit. She wilds out a little bit.
Oh wow. I guess
Yeah,
that's a perfect person to be on the run.
yeah.
You know,
They
or
got
be
the
on the run
AKs.
with. They got
She,
AKs?
oh my God, they have all kinds. You haven't seen pictures? Have you seen pictures of them?
Nah, I don't follow up with on.
Okay, so McAfee is a white man. He's married to a black woman. I want to say she's 37
Oh,
or
she's
47.
black.
Yeah.
This is getting interesting.
Okay, so she's black, and I think he's very into black women, and he says that he's Irish, but the type of Irish he has black blood he's in him. So
Is
he
she
said
darker than me or lighter than me?
she's about a little darker than you, I think.
Yeah, white guys just go for the dark chicks.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know, but she's dope. She's super dope. She's fun, like, and yeah, there's stories where he's woken up with a gun in his face, a knife in his face, all kinds of crazy stuff. You should actually get them on. We should actually get them on to talk about relationships and how they've managed to stay together and to
Yeah.
through all of this turmoil. Let me see if I can get him to come on. That would be
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do a little guest appearance, a relationship guest appearance. That'd be dope.
Yeah, I think they've definitely got a story, but I also have a feel good story. So Monday night, I started training. I got professional boxing lessons. I'm going once a week just to kind of to hone my skills up. It's the first time in my life that I've been able to afford to really go to a gym and to do martial arts because I've been poor my whole life. So I went to the gym. It's in my neighborhood, and of course, I'm the only white girl in there, white person in there, and you could tell, and it happens a lot. That's one of the reasons why I don't go shopping in my neighborhood because I don't feel like dealing with all that stuff. But the kids and everybody in there, they're just kind of looking at me like, what is this girl doing? What's this girl doing? And then I started moving, started getting my groove, and they're like, okay, okay, okay. And they didn't accept me at first, but I think it's going to be good. So the woman that owns the place, she's a black woman, and she's dope. I think she used to be a professional boxer,
Okay.
and she was actually supposed to train me, but apparently her friend or something had passed away, so she was in her office. And so when I was done with my session, she had came out and she's like, oh, nice to meet you. I'm so and so. And I was like, are you okay? And she's like, well, my friend passed away. So I just grabbed her and I hugged her and I was like, I love you. You're going to be okay. I said, everything is going to be okay. I said, it's a fucked up time right now. Everything's going to be okay. I'm sorry this is happening. And she's like, seriously, thank you. She's like, she's all, first off, I love your tattoo. She's all, you're going to fit in great here. And she's all, listen up, kids. You better go say bye to her. You better get up, stand up and say bye to her. So everybody stands up and says bye to me. I was like, this is dope. Like this woman is dope. And I've been asking God, I've been asking the universe for a female mentor, just so, somebody that I can talk to, somebody that I could jive with. And this woman just got this energy like to hype me up. So I'm stoked. I'm excited.
Is she? So she's your trainer?
She's going to be my trainer. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice, nice. Damn. Wendy O, I'll be kicking ass.
Oh yeah. No, I'm so excited. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time. And, it's like when you get older, you finally get money, you're able to live life and to do good things. And
Yeah.
it's a good feeling. So how was your Father's Day?
Wonderful. It was great. I was treated like the king I am.
Okay.
And yeah, they took me out, got some real good lunch. Um, I got a DJI. Damn, I forgot the name of the damn device. The DJI Mimo, the Mimo 3.
What is it?
It's basically an image stabilizer. You connect your phone to it, and you can take video with your phone, but it stabilizes it, and it has the software has like automatic editing and things of that nature.
Nice.
Um, yeah, so I'm working on my I got twin boys, so I'm working on their YouTube channel. So I'm going to use it for their YouTube.
Nice. I have one for
Start.
my daughter, but we don't really. I haven't made anything in a while.
Uh, okay. Yeah, it's for the sports. So, I
Okay.
kind of want to build their portfolio. So when they try out for teams, I can kind of send the link out and say, hey, here they are. There's the skills. You can check them out, see what they're good at.
Isn't it so wild how much technology has changed the way we get accepted to schools and the way that we just do anything in general? Because now, I like when I was in school, I created a portfolio on like Adobe Spark, and it just has all my links. It has all the events I've done, all the work, and it just I send that to somebody, and they can click and they can see. But maybe like 20, 30 years ago, you would send a paper resume in, and people would have to sift through those.
Yeah, hell yeah. So, my friend, they were, looking for, when we talk about looking for jobs, people were like, oh, let me see your resume. I'm like, I don't have a resume. They're like, how do you get jobs? I'm like, if you need a resume to get a job, you're not qualified for the job. So, I just, I feel as though that, you know, resumes are a stupid way to hire people. But when I get on the phone, I command so much attention and I take over the conversation so well that people often forget to ask me for the resume. And when they do ask me for it, I say, I'm not going to send it to you.
Ooh,
I say, it exists. Look at my LinkedIn account. It's the same exact thing. If you need something on a file, print out my LinkedIn account.
that's
And
true.
they usually go, okay. Right? Because I'm not going to be sitting there fucking playing games with you and, all these resume making tricks and whatnot. Fuck
Hmm.
that. Do you want somebody that can do the job? I can do the job. Do you want it or not? Because I can go into the next guy that needs me. There's plenty of people that need me. But you got to be good at what you do to be able to do that.
Are you going to write a book about how to get a job without a college degree eventually, with some of these tips and tricks you talk about?
Yeah, I think I made a video on YouTube years ago. Yeah, I made or I think it was how to interview. But yeah, I have a video on somewhere on this YouTube channel from years ago that teaches you how to do it.
You
You have to
totally
search
should. I
for it.
think it would be very relevant to what's going on today because everything is. I don't know, man. I just read that the UK is banning travel from the United States. If you're in the US, you can't travel back to the UK now.
Oh my god, that's crazy. I think my next book is going to be the America book. After the
Okay,
America book is going to be a book about raising kids,
that's going to be a good one.
and then maybe I'll circle back and do another business book. But right now, I don't really. I feel like my next business book is going to have to be after I have a successful exit from one of these startups.
Okay.
Yeah, but the America book is going to be like $100,000 earner. Um, so that'll be fun. And then the family one will be probably another $100,000 earner too. My daughter made honor roll.
Yes, congrats.
Yeah,
Congrats.
yeah. I think she was maybe two classes away from a high honor roll. But one semester she didn't make honor roll because she got a C in gym. She's like, the gym teacher's a jerk, She's a girl. She's a girly girl. She's like getting sweaty and stuff like that. And I'm just like, well, I don't really care. You get a C in gym, whatever the fuck, I'm not gonna be mad
Right.
about it. But yeah, she made honor roll. I was really proud of her. So she's going on to her junior year of high school next year.
Wow. How old is your oldest kid and your youngest?
She's 16 and the boys are 10.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's a very interesting. I remember those ages. I remember because when I first met my husband, the youngest was 8 and the oldest I want to say he was like 13, 13, 14. So it's very when they're like 10, 11, they're like turning into mini adults. They're
Yeah.
starting it. So
Yeah. I'm just thankful they're still in that receptive phase, right? They're not like closed off. But I think I've built so much trust with my kids. Even my daughter, she's 16. She tends to be very open minded and listening, But I think it's just because, well, I'll talk about it in my book.
no, it's good. I think one of the most important things with kids is being able to raise them to where they can still come and talk to you. Like even my daughter, even though she's almost 4, like she's potty trained. She has no issues with potty training, but at nighttime she does not want to she wears a pull-up to bed. She just is too she's like her brother. She's like her the middle brother because he was the same way. He would have accidents at night for a really long time, but like she'll wake up and she'll go in the pull-up, and I'm like, why, like what's going on? And she's just fighting with me on it and fighting with me. And I know she's capable. I know she can do it, but it's just like, and I just tell her, I says, you know what? I was like, if you come to me and you're honest with me and you tell me I made a mistake or I did this, then I'm, mommy's not going to be mad at you. Mom's not going to be mad. So I'm trying to instill that with her, that she needs to be honest with her parents, and that me and dad, we are a unit. We are one unit, that if she tells me something, I'm going to tell her. And that's just the
Yeah.
way that it is.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know anything about potty training because my dad potty trains all my kids.
What? Okay, I got to hear the story. I got to hear the story because I have one completely opposite. I need to
Yeah,
hear. I need to hear.
I don't know. It's like I don't know what happens, but we sent my daughter down to go hang out with them, and she came back potty trained. And then we sent the boys down, and a week later they came back potty trained. So I don't know what's happening. But my dad's he's a military dad, right? So he gives you a nice stern talking to. But he says, you're not. What are you doing, peeing in your pants? You want to be dirty. Like he makes you, he shames you, right? He
Oh
hits you with
wow.
the shame, guilt. So you kind of feel like crap if you pee your stuff. Also, he won't put the pamper on you too. Yeah, he takes the pamper. He says, "You don't need this anymore." And he throws it in the garbage. And he says, "You've grown up now." And he puts regular underwear on you. He says, "Don't pee these because these aren't diapers." So then the kids go, "Oh, I guess I can't do this now."
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
My father-in-law, he stayed with us this weekend, because he had to get his stuff together. But he had four boys, and he was a working man. He was never home, and he only changed one diaper in his whole entire life, one diaper, and he is very proud of it. He talks about it all the time. And it was pretty funny because I think it was Friday night, or it was Saturday, and my husband, he went to go do his racing thing, whatever the hell he does. He crashed his stupid cart, but anyways, that's on him. So I was, because my dad passed away, so I'm not too big on holidays. So my brother-in-law, he's like, "Can we go? I gotta go to Target. I gotta go get gifts for your da 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 da." And I was like, "Okay, fine." And then my daughter was eating, and she didn't want to come. And he's never watched a little girl before, my father-in-law, because he had all boys, and I don't even think he watched his kid. So my daughter stayed with him for an hour, and apparently she threw a fit and she cried, and she knew she was going to stay. She made that decision to stay with Pa. She knows how he is, but she started crying because she missed me. And he told her, he's like, "Hey." He's like, "If you continue to cry, I'm going to go outside and leave you in the house." So she stopped crying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can definitely reason with children. I was over at my friend's house a couple of weeks ago, and his daughter asked him, "Daddy, fill up the." She's like 3, and she asked him to fill up the water gun. So he's like, "Yo, she's gonna shoot you." I'm like, "It's cool." So she fills up the water gun and she shoot me. She shoot me, and after a while, like it becomes too much, right? And I'm like, "All right, chill, stop," right? And then like she's not stopping, so he goes to raise his voice. I'm like, "Nah, don't raise your voice. Watch this." So I take her and I go, "Look, I don't want to get wet anymore. Can you please not shoot me? It's making me sad." And I make the sad face. And then she makes the sad face back, like, subconsciously.
Hmm.
And she shoots me like one more time. And I'm like, come on, like, don't do that. You're making me sad. And then she goes, okay. And then she stops. Right. So it's just like, you can reason with children. You just have to explain, like, why
Hmm.
you want certain things because you're telling them stop. They're so new to this world, they don't understand, and it's like you're trying to impose your position of authority over them instead of just showing them, and you allowing them to understand reason and that other people have feelings and you have to respect those feelings. So she didn't shoot me the rest of the day.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people don't with kids. I mean, for me, sometimes it's hard because I'm at home with her all like 24/7. My husband, he works a lot, and I got to do my work from home too. Like I got to do my media. Sometimes I have to live stream and I have to record this stuff. And when she comes in the office, our house is small. It's like 1,200 square feet, so I can hear her everywhere in the house. But every time she comes in when I'm recording, I have to, because I have to, take extra time to edit it later. And she's pretty good. She listens, and I try to talk to her like an adult. and she's good. But then there's sometimes when, I just feel like losing my shit because it's like, after my husband's like, I'm tired of hearing you yell at her. I'm like, well, you're not home with her all day. I said, I'm home with her all day. Like, so, but children are receptive. And if you start from birth and you talk to them like an adult, like, of course, be sweet and to be kind and loving and give them positive affirmations. Every morning when we wake up, I just talk to her. I tell her how pretty she is and how intelligent she is, how brave she is. Like, just, I focus on the things that she's good at. But when she's in trouble, she's in trouble. She knows.
Leo women are terrible with children.
Somebody screen cap that face. Somebody screen cap that face. No, I am.
Shots fired.
No,
Y'all be losing y'all shit. You start yelling and screaming. It's just, oh my God. Shut up. Stop yelling at the kids. Y'all
no.
yell at everybody.
You know,
Leo women yell at everybody.
sometimes I do.
That's why you take boxing lessons, because y'all are just aggressive.
You know what? And that's what my man likes. Okay, okay. That's why my stepkids, my boys, I have seen them go off on people because both of them have tempers. But when they walk in, and I've seen them be disrespectful to their mother, but when they come in my house, they know. They know
They
if I
know.
tell them something, don't argue with me. And it was so funny. My cousin, she had to come live with us to finish high school. So my son, he told her, he says, she's like, what's the best advice? Like, how can I survive this? And he's like, just don't argue with her. Just don't argue with her. Just do what she says.
Yeah, hell yeah. Shout out to Brody McFarlane in the chat holding me down as the moderator today.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Shout
Yes.
out to Andrew G with the super chat. He said, no wine. Get some wine now, both of you. I
Yes.
need some. I'm over here drinking some water.
Water's healthy for you. It's very healthy for you. So that's all the chit chat, the chit chat I wanted to cover. But I have some things that I saw on Twitter and whatnot. Well, first off, I'm on TikTok, and TikTok is absolutely hilarious. And there's all kinds of stuff on there. And there's one topic I'll get to towards the end. But one of the first things that I want to ask you about is, what is better for a child, an absent father or a bad role model?
What is what?
So it was my girl Bank of
What is it?
Bank.
No, say it again.
What is better for a child, having an absent father or a father that's a bad role model?
Oh, that's a bad question. You should say what's worse for the child, right? All right. So what's worse for the child? Absent father or a bad role model? I would say a bad role model is worse.
I said the same thing too, and that's my girl Bank of Erica. She's on. She runs a Bitcoin Miami center in Miami. She's cool people, but because I think it was on Father's Day. She had a rough childhood as well. And then she posted about it and talked. Her dad wasn't there all the time and just whatever. And then I chimed in because I like to chime in people's business because that's what I do, because I can, because I'm that person. But I said that I would rather have a bad role model as a father, because at least he's there. At least, like, for the psyche, it's probably not good. And like watching somebody kind of not be the best is probably not good. But if you don't have any male role model at all, you just don't have. I didn't have any male role model. I went through a lot of stuff. So I'd rather have some sort of bad role model or some sort of male figure in my life to kind of say something to me.
Yeah, but what if he teaches you to beat women?
Well,
Right?
that's a good question.
Or,
So
or
those
or to do drugs, or to be irresponsible and lazy, right?
That's
Just for,
true.
like that could be bad, Like when you say bad role model, I just think of all the bad habits, like some sloth playing video games all day who drinks alcohol and beats his wife. That's the first thing I think of when I think of a bad role model, right?
I guess it really it depends the situation, and it depends what's really going on. So I don't know. It's a
Yeah.
really really tough one.
Yeah, yeah. I got a better question for you. Well, not a better question, a different question that's a little bit more controversial. You ready?
Hmm.
What's better, a single father or a single mother?
Ooh, that depends. And the reason why that depends is my mom was a single mom, but my mom didn't work. She wanted to stay at home and be a homemaker.
Mm.
And the issue with that is that I was raised around all women. My great aunt, she was strong. You would have, oh my God, you would have loved her. She was so strong. Um way back when she had worked in a sweatshop, and then she got her first job working at a bank in New York, a chemical bank, cleaning floors, and then she worked her way up to a teller, and then she actually trained a lot of the presidents and the big time men over there, but she worked her ass off. And so she was a good role model for me. But my mom didn't work. So I never saw somebody getting up every day and having a routine to go to work. The only kind of routine I saw was just us getting up and going to school. I didn't
Mm.
see any real type of responsibility. And I know my mom in her head thought that was the right thing to do, because but that was because she was old school. And in the day and age that we're in now, women work. So I guess it really depends if what type of person that the parent is. If the dad gets up and goes to work every day and has a schedule, that's good. Because I feel like my mom, by her not getting up and going to work every day, that was kind of like a kind of not positive for me and my sisters, because it's kind of like you're in la la land and you're like, what is reality?
But you said your mom was at work or was not?
No, she didn't work until I was like
Right.
15 or 16, but she
So
left my
she was home all the time.
she was home all the time.
Yeah, that's good, right?
Well, not really.
Why?
Because there was routine, but I didn't see anybody get up and go to work. Like, my dad had died. Okay, so my parents split up at 7, and my dad got sick at that time, so he stopped working. So no one worked at all. And then he passed away when I was like 10, 11, and my mom didn't get a real job until like I was like 15 or something. So I never saw anybody get up and go to work.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
It is a bad thing because
Why is it bad?
I'm looking back, and I was talking with one of my friends about it, and I'm looking back and I'm thinking to myself, like, I never had it. The only person that I know that gets up and goes to work every day is my husband.
Yeah.
So I never saw anybody actually get up and go to work and do that whole entire ritual until I was like 15. And I felt it was kind of
Yeah.
I felt it was kind
We're
of
gonna
damn.
have to dive in on this topic. Let me tighten my chair up here.
Let's do it. I want it
Ah,
because I feel, and I'm not mad at my mom. When I talk about any of this stuff, I'm not mad at my mom. I'm not resentful, but it is what it is. And I feel like that me not seeing somebody get up and go to work every day impacted me in a negative way, because getting up and going to work every day is pretty rational. It's not like she had a side, your face right now. It's not like she had a side hustle. It's not like, she was just a mom to us. I didn't have like a really strong female role model besides my aunt, but by that time she was already retired.
work is a sin.
Okay.
I'll say it again. Work is a sin. And we'll understand this when AI takes over, right? Because then we'll have more time to play. You see, humans are actually designed to enjoy life and to explore the finer things of life. And I think there's a difference between work and creating, right? So when you do your videos, you're not working, you're creating, right?
Mhm.
And you're sharing information. So you're contributing to the evolution of the human, which is great. Now, getting up and going to work, I'm going to say something really controversial. So everybody buckle your boots. I don't want to hear no shit. Getting up and going to work is a very Neanderthal type way of thinking. And I'm reading Thaddeus Russell's book now, Renegade History of the United States, and it's reminding me of my take on this. For example, right? So I pride myself in doing no work. I don't work, right? I do not work, I feel like if you have to get up and leave your house to go work, you failed somewhere in life. Now, that is not to take away from the people that get up and go to work every day to provide for their family. I think that that's a very admirable thing to do. Um, but it's just not something that people should look at as a virtue, right? Work isn't a virtue. Exploration and creation is a virtue. And if those two, if work and creation cross over, then that's a beautiful thing. But like Thaddeus Russell was talking about in his book, he's basically saying that, um, after slavery is abolished in America, there was this, or even, before slavery, he says there's this gnosis that was carried by the diplomats and the bureaucrats, right? And it was trying to um, diminish the desire for luxury, the desire to have more. And the virtue is to be a working man and work, 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 work. That was what people should strive for. And I just and Thaddeus Russell does a great job of illustrating how just stupid that is. Where what about fun, right? What about dancing and playing and all these other things, and relaxing and going to the beach and having fun with each other. So I feel like, you know, um, for example, um, when my kids were, when the boys were real young, I'd probably say up to maybe like 2 or 3, I got up and left the house and went to work, right? But they aren't the same kids, um, or they wouldn't be the same kids had I not started working from home, right? Like I made a conscious decision that when they come home from school, they would see me here and they would get accustomed to me working from home and seeing me work at home, and also the type of work I do, right? But I think that work is a means to an end, right? And in Thaddeus Russell's book, Renegade History of the United States, he talks about that was the mentality of Black people. And, he said that some of the white employers, they said that every year the blacks would come back and ask for a higher wage. Give me a higher wage. Give me a higher wage every year. And he said these people don't want to work. And he said, but Black people saw work as a means to an end, right? So it's like you work, but you're working so you don't have to work anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But work itself is not a virtue. You know, work is something for uh, lower class and children. Work is something for a 20-year-old. Once you get past the age of 30, you should be thinking about how you cannot work anymore. Otherwise, you're not actually evolving, right? You're not, you should be getting better. You should be getting so great that you generate revenue in your sleep. Like, you have to think about how the rich get rich. Jeff
Mm-hmm.
Bezos ain't working, right? He worked years ago, so he doesn't have to work now. But he has people who work for him. So if you're not working to stop working, then what's the point? I think your children should see you not working and say, "Daddy, how are you able to provide all of this without working?" And that's the virtue.
See, I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. And that's where and in my life right now, that's where I am. I get to work from home, and I've got a lot of things, like a lot of balls in the air, things that I'm working towards, to where I am going to be outsourcing some of the work that I'm doing. I'm working on sponsorship so I don't have to work as hard. So I can just focus on creating content and know that I'm going to get that, I'm going to get that BTC deposit at the end of the month for the work that I'm doing for my sponsor. So I'm focusing on doing all that. But I feel like in my case with my mom is that my mom I don't even know how she lived. I don't I she my mom, there's things she'll touch on, there's things she won't touch on. I'm pretty sure after my father passed she was living on the social security because he made a lot of money when he worked, and then they bought and sold houses, so she had a little bit of that money, but she didn't I don't know how she was able to pay for things. It was very bizarre, and she won't talk about it.
Good job, mom. Somebody in the chat said, Rolo Polo said, the American dream has always been to suffer working 30 years. Then at 65, you can finally enjoy life. Like, yeah,
Not
that's
anymore
what,
though.
what do you mean?
Not at 65, you don't I know a lot of people at 65 that they don't get to retire.
Right, exactly. And that's the problem, right? When you create these goals of 65, it gets extended out to 85 because you weren't trying to do it at 35, right?
Mhm.
But we got to remember that America was created by an upper class, and that upper class wanted to figure out how they can keep people working. So they brainwash people with this idea of work till, work is a virtue, work is a virtue. So they can keep you on their plantations, euphemistically speaking, they can keep you on their plantations and profit off of your work so they don't have to work. That's like one of the biggest scams in America. Solar Bear, $2 super chat. He says some people just need that chip on their shoulder. Andrew G 499 super chat. Thank you. You said, "What is better, liberal mom and dad, or strong conservative single parent?" Ooh, that's a good question.
Yes.
Wendy, what do you think?
Repeat it one more time.
It's liberal mom and dad, or a conservative single parent.
Ooh, man, that's rough. That is rough.
I'm gonna go with liberal mom and dad.
I'm gonna have to go with that too. Do you want to explain why that's a better option? Or you want me to go first?
Because fucking conservatives are stupid.
Not
You
not
know,
nec-
like
not necessarily that. But go ahead and
no,
then I'll
like
chime
it's
in.
no, like it's proven, like it's statistically proven that they have lower IQ scores than the left, and they earn less than the left. They're technically the dregs of society. Not all of them, you know. Obviously, you know, I'm more on the conservative side of things, and I detest liberals. But I think it's important to have a mom and dad there. But I think that question just leaves out a lot of nuance, right? Like, you know, you could be liberal, and still look at some of these policies much better than a conservative would, you know. But I just think it's important to have a mom and dad there. The dad may be cucked. That could be a huge problem. But a conservative single parent, I would say if it was a dad, I'm going with the dad because I think dads raise better children than women. Um, and I would choose a conservative dad, um, blue collar worker, over a two parent household liberal white collar worker.
Okay. Okay. I would have to go with the liberal parents, and the reason why but also too, it depends how liberal they are because
Right.
some liberals are like mentally, like they're just mentally ill. Like there's a
Mhm.
and I'm not saying that conservatives are any better because I'm just in the middle. But there's some of the shit that I see. I'm just like the places these people take their kids and what they're allowing their young kids to do. I'm just like, no, 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 no. So
Yeah.
that depends because having a mother and father in the house are important. But I also like what you said about the blue collar father that gets up. And I know we'll get back into this working in a minute, but gets up, has a routine, goes to work every day, and kind of teaches the kids values that way.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, kids don't necessarily always respect the mom. That's why the man is there. That's why you need an alpha man to make babies with. Because if
Yeah.
your kid is acting up and popping out the side of their neck,
Yeah.
dad comes in with the attitude, with the voice, and
Yeah.
they freeze up.
Yeah. 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 Women suck with children.
You're trying to. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. You're trying to get that face for the memes. You're trying to get that face. But you know what? No, women. We have our role. I'm an amazing mother. I lay it down for my daughter. I'm showing her what an entrepreneur looks like, what the struggles and all the drama looks like. But I've worked really really hard, and I'm teaching her values, and so is her dad. Her dad is also an entrepreneur. We're both entrepreneurs, and he just happens to be doing better than I am right now.
Wonder why this man who dates whites hates him so much. Who's the Rebecca says, wonder why this man who dates whites hates him so much. Who are you talking about? Chad Lemoyne, he says, answer, two parents. Duh. Yeah, yeah. You know, without the nuance of the question, you know, I'm probably gonna go with two parents. I hate to say it. I'd hate to create another liberal child. But I don't know if conservatives any better today. I think, you know, I had a debate on Black Lives Matter, and the guy I was debating made a great point. He said sometimes, well, he says that, you know, left and right is actually a circle because after a while they meet back again. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, because they act the same a lot. You know, so it's like I don't know what's going on here. What you want is you want yourself some Hotep parents. She said
I'm with it.
she said, you don't have your kids, man, ever. I don't have my kids. Dallas Phoenix! I could call him right now. And Wendy O is not my woman. My woman is upstairs in the bed. And yeah, I got my kids right here. I'm about to bring on the stream real fast. Come here, come here. Come say hi to the people. Come say hi. Say hi. Hello. All right, get out of here. My kids is here. What are y'all talking about? I live with my kids.
Oh my God, these people are wild.
Yeah. It's just funny. I remember one time there was a rumor spreading. It was like, they said I wouldn't buy my daughter Pampers, and I'm like, my daughter's 12. What are y'all talking about? Crazy. Yeah.
Oh.
So Mary O'Donnell, you're a moderator, bro. Brody, you're a moderator. Deal with Rebecca for me, please. Handle that ass.
She belongs to the streets.
James said that was CGI. She belongs to the scrapes.
Oh man, you know what's so the funniest thing about the world that we live in now? Well, this used to happen way back when, but people always judge. They look at somebody and they judge without actually getting to know them or doing their own research. And I always just thought that was very interesting and bizarre and whatnot. I try not to judge somebody until I actually have a conversation with them. Unless they got those weird, crazy people vibes, then I'm like that.
Yeah,
I can normally tell right away. But going back a little bit to the working thing, I hear what you're saying about work is essentially a sin because it is because if you're not working for yourself, you're building somebody else's dream. But not everybody's built to be an entrepreneur. It's not an easy thing at all.
strongly disagree.
You think it's easier?
So, I was talking about this earlier when I was a keynote speaker for Wayra. And I said, you're either born an entrepreneur or you're taught to be an entrepreneur. And when I released my book, Dominate Twitter, I actually, before I released that book, I thought that somebody had to be born an entrepreneur. Otherwise, there was no hope for them, right? But after I released the book, I watched people go from working for somebody else to being a 5-figure monthly earner with my book and saying, yo, Hotep Jesus like rewired my mind to think like a hustler, to think like an entrepreneur. Dylan Madden is another example. Dylan Madden's a kid who was a white kid from down south, no formal education whatsoever. I think maybe just a high school degree. He was a big fan of the Hoteps. He followed me for a really long time. Today, the kid's like traveling Europe and he's independent. He makes money, online. Um, he wasn't thinking like that before. And one of the testimonies he gave me, he said, Hotep Jesus will transform from a consumer to a producer. It's a decision you have to make, right? It's a decision you have to make. It's not really do you have it in you. Chad said 2 Hotep parents. Yeah, 2 Hotep parents, exactly. Um, but yeah, um, wait, what were we talking about?
We're talking we were talking about that it is hard to be an entrepreneur, and
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
reason,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So it's a decision you have to make, right? It's a decision you have to
right.
make in your mind, and it's you have to be just willing to do it, right? And I used to think you had to be born with it. Like I was born with it. I still think some people are born with hustle and some people are taught hustle, but I think it's something. I think anybody can be an entrepreneur. In fact, I think Naval said this too, or somebody else said that in the future, everyone should want to be an entrepreneur, and the world would be better if everybody was an entrepreneur. Technology would advance much faster if everybody was an entrepreneur. And
Mhm.
some people say, well, everybody's an entrepreneur who will do the jobs. And the truth is, before you become an entrepreneur, you have to do an apprenticeship. So there's always going to be a younger class that can be an apprentice and learn the ropes before they go out on their own, so on and so forth. There's always going to be a lower class that's going to have to learn, but I believe everybody should contribute to the entrepreneurial space.
So I agree with that to a certain extent. So I think that you can definitely learn hustle, but I don't think everybody is cut out for it. It really, there's a lot of factors in it. It depends how they were brought up. I grew up, I had to learn to hustle to
So
pay for things.
what could hinder them?
The way you were brought up, insecurities, not being scared of the unknown. For me, for example, I had a job when I worked in infectious disease for 7 years. Before that, I did 3 years in working in the thrift stores or whatever for the same company. I wanted to start my business for the longest time, but I was so scared to make that plunge. And the reason why I was scared to make that plunge is because I was homeless before, and I was, on the streets being a mess, just whatever. I had all my stuff going on. And I was so scared that if I quit my job, that I was never going to be able to find something else, and I was never going to be able to make it on my own. It was fear. But after, I finally got to a point in my job after I had my daughter. And it was really me having my daughter that pushed me and said, you know what? If I don't take this chance and I don't finish school or I don't try to start my own business, I made a meeting with the SBA, because the SBA does have free mentoring sessions where you can, let's say you want to buy a donut shop, or have a donut shop or a Greek restaurant, whatever it is. You can call the SBA. You can set up an appointment with them, with somebody that runs a similar business that you want to run, and you can meet them every couple weeks and they'll mentor you, and it's free. So
Mm.
that was the first thing that I did after I quit my job. Obviously, like, I was in school and stuff, but I set up an appointment with a mentor to kind of just to get some direction, to learn from them.
Mhm.
So there's that. But also too, my husband is in construction. He, for the longest time, when even though he was skilled enough to start his own business, he wouldn't do it because he was just so used to being a worker and working for somebody else. And I would push him, and we'd actually get in really bad fights about it. I was like, babe, why don't you just quit? You know how to do everything for the company. Like, you've been doing it for 20 plus years. Quit your job and start your own thing. Because he's really into the racing. And most of the guys that do the professional racing, they're all contractors and they make good money and they're able to fund it. I was like, if you want to race, you're going to have to become an entrepreneur to fund that, because we're not going to be able to afford it with just our 9 to 5s. And then his best friend that him and his best friend, they had their glow up from the streets together, both on the streets, just being a mess. His best friend was like, I'm going to start. He's like, I'm leaving the company, because they work for the same company. So I'm going to leave the company. I'm getting my contractor's license. And so my husband, right about a month or two after I quit my job, he quit his job to start the business with the friend.
Yeah, that's how you do it. You got to take
Right.
a leap of faith. The biggest hurdle to entrepreneurship is not success, it's fear. I went to go visit a friend of mine. His little brother was there, and his little brother's a physical trainer. He's jacked, got a great looking body, real good looking guy. And I said, "What are you gonna do? You're trying to figure out life, so on and so forth." He's like, "Well, I'm a physical trainer. I'm going to get my license, and I kind of want to get my Instagram account going, YouTube going." And I'm like, "Okay, well, are you creating content?" And he's like, "Yeah, I got some content." So I'm like, "All right, cool. Show it to me." He grabs his laptop, he pulls it out, and it's like crispy clear, edited, looks like 10 times better than any content I've goddamn created, right? And I'm like, "Cool. So you put this out yet?" He like, "Nah, you think I should?" I'm like, "Oh my fucking God, yo." I'm like, "Yo, like, upload this shit, put this shit out there and go." He's like, "Well, what name should I go under?" I'm like, "You don't like your name, bro? Like, are you really allowing your name and fear to get going?" So we're talking, talking, talking. And I'm like, "Yo, I got a class on Saturdays. And I'll tell you what, I'd kick you out my class if you were afraid to start, right? Take the video and put it out." I mean, he had like 20 videos sitting in the portfolio, just sitting there.
Come
Yeah.
on.
Right. Just put it on YouTube and you'll figure it out as you go along. Like
Hmm.
what the F, man? But I find that with people who don't get into entrepreneurship are always worried about what people will think about them.
Hmm.
And I tell you what, them people ain't paying your bills, but they will if you start.
Well, that's what happened to me. Is when I first started my channel, I didn't plan to start a YouTube channel. I didn't plan to do any of the shit I was doing. I thought I was just going to trade and finish school and then go get a 9 to 5 or whatever. And I had people that approached me like, "Oh, well, we'll pay you like $1,000 for a video." And I was like, "You're going to pay me to have you come on my show that I have no subscribers here. I had like 5,000 or like maybe 10,000 followers at Twitter at the time." I said, "But you're going to pay me a G to sit down with me for an hour, 30 minutes to talk about your project." I was like, "Really?" I was like, I was only made before I was doing what I was doing, I was making like $500 a week. I'm like, and that was 40 hours. And then that's not even counting the commuting. And I'm like, so you're telling me that I can work for 1 hour out of 7 days and make double what I was making before. I said, sign me up. And it was, let me tell you, it was not easy. I have over 500 videos on my channel and I don't get paid for all of them. But now, because I have put the work in over the last 2 years, I have daily videos. I built a name for myself. I'm starting to secure more and more sponsorships to where I just get to wake up. I get to spend 2 hours making the video, editing it, tossing it up there, shit posting on twitter.com, and then I'm good. I'm Gucci. I'm good. So I'm just like,
See that?
yep.
See that? But
And
you
I
put
was
the
scared. I
but you
was
put the work
scared.
in. But you put the
I,
work in and you did the education. The education is the other part, right? A lot of people,
mm-hmm.
you know, say, well, how am I supposed to start the business? And that first thing I say, what do you know? Uh, Nothing really. All right, well, you need to pick something and go learn a skill. You need to pick up something and learn something. There's so many different industries, you know. Learn some shit and you'll make yourself valuable. But if you don't know shit, then how are you going to become an entrepreneur if you don't know shit?
Well, the thing is you have whatever it is you're doing, regardless if it's a service or an actual tangible good, you have to have something that somebody wants.
Yeah. Charlie, $20 super chat. Thank you. He says, HN being a black movement, how do you feel about other races buying your merch? Do you approach it like an Asian buying from Fubu? Or are you open to everyone participating in the commerce of Hotep Nation? Very interesting question. Um, I think that maybe 90% of the people that wear Hotep merch are white. 90% or better contribute to our Patreon. We are not an organization that says, hey, you know, you're white, you can't wear my clothes. That's stupid, you know. It's not about that. You know, I don't look at white people as the enemy. I think that, and I've talked about this plenty of times of how white people came to become the enemy. Yeah, I know you don't mean no disrespect. I do sense the honesty in your query there. But nah, I just look at it as, you know, support the movement. If you like what we're doing, support it. Get some merch, wear it. You know, tell people about it. But I don't even look at it as a black movement. Like, I know it is one, but often I forget that because I'm looking at the big picture. You know, I'm looking at the globe. I'm looking at America, and I'm looking at so many different problems that stem from basically one problem. That one problem is ignorance. So I'm just here to educate.
That was a good answer to that question.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, I got my half white, half super Jew friend here, Wendy O. You know, so like, yeah, I don't care what race you are, you know, where you from. I care about your character, you know, and because I found out in seventh grade that not all white people are my enemy, and not all black people are my friend. So yeah, what's the next topic?
Next topic. Let's see here. So, this is a good one. Sexual harassment online. Should the receiver blast the sender publicly? So let's say I get a dick pic. Should I post that? And should I post that person's handle and be like, look what this person sent to me? And let's say that, because I have my DM set up to where I have like if I follow you, you can DM me, but if I don't follow you, you can't. You get in like this little waiting area. So let's say you go in the waiting area. You're in. I don't follow you. Some random person from God knows where. You send me a dick pic. Should I post that publicly? And should I humiliate you publicly for doing so, for being disrespectful?
Well, I think posting someone else's nudity is against the law, so you could be like sued for that or something
Okay.
like that. I don't know the implications of that when it's sent to you unsolicited, but yeah, they should actually be exposed, and it's exposed over and over again. And you know, and everybody, we need a wall of shame. You know, this asshole is going around sexually harassing women. You
Men
know,
too, because men
we,
get stuff too.
yeah, I get it. Yeah, I've had you know, I'm chilling and somebody's like, "Hey, can you follow me back? I got a question." Cool, follow back. Titties, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah." Or the crotch, and I'm just like, "Ooh, that thing looks ugly. It's got look like roast beef." But I'm an asshole, right? So, like, this happened recently. Some chick sends me her titties, and I'm like, "Damn, you got some really big nipples." And she's like, "I'm insecure about my nipples, and I just don't respond." But yeah, I think it's different for men, because I believe in double standards. I believe there should be double standards. I think it's odd for a man to out a woman who does that. But a woman, I think women need to be protected. And I think that men doing like nasty shit like that should definitely be outed. They should be exposed.
I agree with you there. Just I agree with you. I think that it, especially with the way technology is, I feel like it is becoming a problem to where because I get them in my DMs too, and I had somebody that I thought like I knew him and he was a friend of mine, and I'm just like, what the heck? Like, because people get bold and they get brave. So I don't do private DMs anymore. I don't with anybody.
Yeah.
I do group chats. Like if it's just real quick, okay, hey, we're doing this, da 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 da, that's fine. But there's not too much unless it's business. There's not too much going on in that just because whatever. But we have that big problem with crypto Twitter is there's a lot of dudes that they will send really inappropriate stuff to the girls. So sometimes I post that. I post not the nudity stuff because that's just weird to me. But I will post like someone DM me and they said something like, "Oh, you have really thick skin. You should go do porn and quit what you're doing." And I was like,
Yeah. Exposed
"Yeah,
immediately.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's because weird. People are just people are
Yeah.
weird." Next,
Somebody asked me the other day, they said, I think it was yesterday, they're like, "Yo, Hotep, I want to DM you. How come your DMs aren't open?" I'm like, "Because I don't want people having access to me, obviously." And it's like so simple because if you click on the link in my bio and you subscribe to my email list, you automatically get my email address and then you can communicate with me. So it's just like you're just being lazy at this point.
hmm
It's like you're scared to give me your email address, but you want access to me. That's just a very selfish way to go about things, which is why I do it that way.
That's actually a better way to do it, and I'm reworking my website. That's something I got to do tomorrow. I got to send some stuff for that, but I think I'm going to have my all my stuff set up to where it's harder to get in contact with me, just because I value myself, I value my time, and if people want access to me, they need to pay me, and they need to pay me for my time and whatever, because I don't have time to just play games. I'm like there's like 5 women in crypto, and I'm one of them, and I work my ass off. So they want contact with the real woman who can do everything that I can do and as good as I can do it. You better pay me.
Real talk.
Well, all right. So your buddy Jason Argonaut, he's the primal fear or
Oh, okay, yeah, Primal Fire, yeah.
primal fire. He posted something. He says never attempt to reason with women.
Mm, mm. Powerful, powerful. It sounds like something came straight out of my book, The Unbreakable Rules of Masculinity, which you can get at the link inside the description box below. Yes, yeah. Do not try to reason with a woman. A woman is a grown 4-year old, and you need to treat her as such. The only thing you need to do to a woman is listen and give her back rubs and just, okay. Actually, something I was in a drug program back in the day, drug counseling. I wasn't an addict, but everybody in there was. And the counselor, she understood that like I was like the oddball in the crew, like this guy doesn't belong here. But whoever my probation officer was a dick, and he put me in his program. So the probation, the this program person or whatever counselor, we had a little private chat, and she was like, um, "If you ever want someone to think that you're listening, just repeat back what they said. What the last thing they said was." So when my girl talks to me, I just repeat back the same thing she says all the time. And she kind of catches on. She's like, "You're not listening. You're just repeating me." But it works. If you repeat back the last thing somebody says to you, they assume that you're listening. So that's what you do to your woman. She says, "Oh my God, I went to work today and I had a bad day. My boss was yelling at me." And you just say, "Your boss was yelling at you?" Yeah. And that's really all it takes. But trying to reason with the woman is especially a Leo woman. Um,
The jabs keep coming, man. The jabs keep coming. Am I getting canceled after this show?
no, it's about setting the environment for a reason. So you can't reason with a woman in the heat of emotion. In the heat of emotion, you have to just pander, right? Pander to her emotions and let it go. What you have to do is you have to uh, capture her in a certain moment, especially when you know she's in a good mood. Catch her when she's in a good mood, or set the environment for a good mood, and disclaimer before you start your reasoning, right? Like, hey, babe, I've been thinking and I want to have this discussion with you. Can you have a seat for a second? It's not super important. I just want to like hash out some things with you really fast. And, I don't want to attack you. I spend like 5 minutes just prepping what I want to say before we even get to the discussion, right? I spend at least like, 2 minutes just you know, so the guard comes down, right? Making sure she drops the guard, and the guard comes down, and she realizes I'm on her side, and I'm a friend, and I love you, and I massage the shoulders while I'm talking to her, right? And then I lay it on her, right? And then usually she's more receptive. But if you get the shoulder massage going, she goes, "Oh, okay, oh yeah, what do you want to say, babe? What's on your mind?" Right? So, so then, yes, you can reason with a woman, but you have to first have to first lower her defenses. Then you can
Okay.
reason with her.
All right, so let's wind it back. So, first you says you can't reason with a woman, and then you said you can reason with a woman, but there's two different scenarios. So let's recap this so that we
Hmm.
can we can educate the people that are watching this because this is important.
You
And I'm gonna
can't.
and I'm gonna clip this too because this is important. We need to give advice. People need to understand how important this is. So, when a woman is emotional, you guys, very, very emotional, do what Hotep said. Let them talk. Let them get it out. Even if you're not interested, pretend you are interested. Go get her some food, rub her back or her shoulders, whatever it is. Let her feel that she is being heard because we need that. We are as a proud woman, I am a very emotional creature, regardless that I'm a Leo or not. Regardless, that may just be my Sicilian side, maybe my Sicilian side because I get wild out a little bit. Let her know that her feelings are being validated and that she is being heard. And then when you need to discuss something with her, that was I like that. Do the pander to it, do the shoulder rub, just make her feel that she's important. But one of the things I will say is that you actually do have to reason. Well, I don't necessarily want to say call it reasoning, but you do have to have a good communication with your partner
Yeah.
about things.
You know who else you can't reason with?
Who?
A man that was raised by a woman.
That's true.
They're even worse.
Oh my God.
They're worse than women, because you're dealing with a man now, and he has like I was at my friend's house and we were talking, and guy I went to high school with, and broke up with his girl, and they got kids, and they just can't kind of figure out the relationship, so he left, and he's at my friend's house trying to figure out before he goes back and all that, and we're talking about like politics, and the Trump thing pops up. And he knows my stance on all of that. And he's like, yo, I hate Trump. Fuck Trump. No, no, Trump, Trump. And I'm like, yo, you really feel like that harshly about another man like that? You know what I mean? So then, I start, trying to educate him on the history of the Democratic Party and the LBJ and the New Deal. And I just start noticing that, like, he's not even trying to listen. But again, this is somebody who was raised by a woman. So I'm like, this is worse than talking to a woman.
Well, because you can't do the shoulder rub. You can't.
Yeah, yeah. You can't do none of that. Yeah.
You can't. You can't. And that's interesting that you say that because there's a lot of dudes. They're just like they're just not they're not alpha. They don't have that strong personality, and I feel like the younger generation is I just feel bad for them, man.
Yeah, they're doomed.
But it's like I get people don't like Trump, and that's fine, but to have such a strong opinion about it to where it makes you so angry, it's like
Yeah.
it's kind of like really like you're gonna
Like that heated up about it.
you're
Like, damn, like he was like mad and like he was like, fuck Trump. And I'm just like, damn, like you was pointing at me like I was Trump, right? Like, and I was Trump's representative. And I'm like, dude, like chill, like I don't like Trump that much. Like I
did
just
you
think it's funny.
I retweeted that video of him and I said, I forget what I said. I said me not giving any fucks or something or whatever, but it was him at the last little whatever the hell he had, but he was sitting and he was drinking his water, and then he threw it on the side. I
Oh
died.
yeah,
It was like that was
yeah,
just that was an alpha move right there. Just like
yeah, yeah. I love that. I love that. Um, anti-political correctness. I feel like that's so important nowadays. That everything. That's another thing Thaddeus Russell talks about in his book. Like, everybody has to be so polished and be like this, and it's just like that's where freedom dies. Where you criticize people for stepping outside the box of professionalism. That's why I wear hoodies everywhere. That's why I wear this, snapback, because I refuse to conform to what people think is professional and how you should dress and all that and bullshit. In fact, I tossed out all my suits 5 years ago. I'll never wear a suit again.
why?
Um, well, the tie is a phallic symbol, and I'm not going to wear a dick around my neck. I think that's homosexual as fuck. So that was the main reason. But also just because, and I may eat my words. You might see me in a suit in the future, right? And I might eat my words. Like, who knows what could happen, right? But I prefer to wear traditional African
Okay.
formal wear. Back to my Hotep roots.
I'm with that. I see. I can respect that, but me personally, I like a man. I like a man in a suit. I have my dude has one, and there's this place in LA. Oh, what is it called? I forget what it's called, but you have to, in order to get in, you have to make reservations, and they have it's like big band. They have a big band playing on the stage. You have to wear like formal wear to get in. So the man has to wear a suit, the woman has to wear like a gown or whatever, and it's very exclusive.
Mm,
It's like $200 a person or whatever. But I like go when I bought him the suit for that, and I like to go there because I like to feel that I'm in like a different time. Everybody's very polite. They have people at the elevator. It's just very it's the vibe
gives
is
you a
just
different feel. Yeah.
it feels good. So
Yeah.
and I think me personally, I like a man in a suit. I think that it's very attractive. Obviously, when my husband and I we go to dinner, we do whatever. He's got his stuff that he wears. But I do like to see a man in a suit every once in a while. It's very attractive to me.
hmm
So,
What's next?
what's
Hold on, let
next?
me see. Let me see. We got super chats. Let me see. Solar Bear. He said, "I'm glad that got cleared up. Now grabbing merch." Solar Bear, you was waiting too. Scott Sanders says, "Just bought Hotep Jesus book. Twitter marking. Look out, world. Hey, awesome, man. Should have got the digital version, but I'm glad you got you a copy." Cassius Cam Dane, $5 super chat. Thank you. He says, looking to start a channel myself aimed at congregating the ANCAP libertarian community. I vibe with HOTEPs more than any other sect. Awesome, man. Yeah. Just jump out the window and do it. Just start it, even if it's from your phone and it starts off with a 60-second video. My YouTube channel started it was very weird. I was on Twitter and I had an anonymous account. So at first I was like the rapper. And then when I left for about 6 months and went through my spiritual awakeness, when I threw out all my suits and stuff like that. And then when I finally decided to come back to the platform, I decided to come back as anonymous. And people were like, yo, like your thoughts on Twitter are like really thought provoking. Why don't you create a channel for YouTube and like explain this? So initially when I created my YouTube channel, it was just an outlet for me to just dump thoughts. I was like, I have all these thoughts and ideas that I've been harboring for all these years, and I just never had anybody to talk to them about. So I started making videos about like, college is a scam and how to get a job as a waiter and how to get it, all these things that I just knew that I wanted to share with the world for free. And then after a while, I just was like, okay, I've said everything I wanted to say, right? Like there's nothing else I wanted to talk about anymore, right? Like, and then I ended up coming back to the platform when the whole Black Lives Matter stuff took fold, and I had to expose Sean King in 2015. And then again, I disappeared. And then I came back again under the new alias and, kind of pro Trumpish, or pro conservative and understanding politics. So I lost like 10,000 followers because I went from Ali Shakur, this pro black guy, to this guy that's like, yo, Trump ain't as bad as you say he is. But yeah, it all started from just me wanting to dump thoughts, and these like sitting in my kitchen recording from my phone and just uploading it. So don't worry about the quality. The quality gets better over time.
Let me make a little suggestion. I'm noticing there's a lot of political people on TikTok. TikTok has got different like genres, and the people that are very well spoken and that are able to articulate some of these complex ideas like you do in under 60 seconds, their follower count and their video count is just exploding. It's crazy. Um, some of the stuff on there is just absolutely amazing. So what I would do, and I've actually been doing it for my YouTube channel, even though it's crypto stuff, but I like TikTok because the videos are anywhere between 15 seconds and 60 seconds. And I'm practicing on articulating everything I have to say about a specific news story in 60 seconds, or like something very technical about technical analysis or price, and then putting it on TikTok. And then after I get put on TikTok, then I put it on my YouTube channel. So then you're on two platforms, you're dual platforms, and that is actually better. You're going to get more hits that way. It's just a little bit. It'll take you about 5 minutes to toss it from TikTok to YouTube or vice versa. But if you want to get started, I would recommend doing that and being on as many platforms as possible to get your voice across. And then you'll also get feedback from people, and you'll see how that works.
I practice something complete opposite, but I think there's many different ways of doing things. Try Wendy's O way. If she says it works, it fucking works. God damn
I mean,
it.
there's different ways to do it, but I'm just
Yeah,
noticing that there's TikTok has got so many different, subgroups and whatever. But I think
yeah,
I'm really doing it for it's really good practice for me though, because I like to babble on because I'm that emotional Leo.
yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. Do it. What's next? What's next? What's
Next,
next?
this one is kind of weird, but I wanted to talk about it because it was a female teacher, but a female teacher was sleeping with her students. She got caught on breaking 9/11. I kind of just wanted to get maybe your logic behind why a teacher would sleep with her student and think that it's okay. Think that like if it's a boy student, like why is that okay? Like your job is to care for kids regardless of the age. That is your job to do it. I understand that teenagers, some of these teenagers do not look like teenagers, but they are still kids. They are not mature enough to make life decisions. They live at home with mommy and daddy. What would make somebody do something like that when you're sworn in to protect and care for these kids?
Yeah. So every time this topic comes up, I think of my ninth grade Spanish teacher, Miss Pandarero. Oh man, she was so damn fun. So damn fun. And the only thing I can think of is I wish she'd have fucking raped me. Now is this right? Now is this right? Right? You see, I just skid right past that. Is this right? I don't think it's right. But again, in my book, I say that women are the apex predator. Um, women are actually more of the sexual beings. People think men are the sexual beings. Nah, it's women, especially when they're inside that fertile window. Oh man. Um, so let's say you turn down a man for sex. Like we just got to deal with the rejection, right? Like we can get upset, we can get mad, and we deal with rejection. You ever turned a woman down for sex and see how she acts? It get ugly. It get real ugly. The fuck are you talking about? The fuck, I mean, I've been cussed out before. Are you getting us? And I was like, whoa, like relax, like calm down. By various women. Um, but I think that we're just dealing with a woman who has sexual desires, which are predatory in nature, preying on young men. Um, and she lacks discipline, right? like you may have, these desires in your head, but you can't act these out, and I don't even know how they see. Well, you gotta understand, like, especially like women after a certain age, they kind of like want a younger man, and because I used to date older women, and I kind of dug the fact that they're like a little bit more mature than other women. um but I don't know. Like, I know if I was a school teacher, I couldn't mess with no high school girl. Like, they're annoying, right? Like I find
They
women
are.
underage. I find women under the age of 30 are annoying, right? Like they're super fucking annoying. Like I don't care how good you look, you're annoying. You're just fucking annoying. And the better they look, the more annoying they are, right? So, putting myself in a teacher's shoes, I don't imagine how men would date or mess with some of these young girls. Like, how do you even like stay in the same room as them and have a conversation? Like what conversation can even come about, right?
Well,
Like,
because the reason why what sets you apart, what makes you different than than some other men that would be interested in that is because they are not intelligent. I don't want to say intelligent, but they've got some emotional issues. They just want to be wanted, and they've got money. Like an older man dating a young girl, they've got money, there's things that they want, and that's why they are with these young girls, is because they either want to manipulate them or they want to feel loved or wanted or whatever it is. To me, it's just it's weird to extent. Don't get me wrong, my husband is older than me, but that relationship wasn't on that. It was more of, I like to date older men myself. I've always dated older men, probably
yeah,
because
that's usually the norm, right? Yeah, usually
yeah.
girls date up. Yeah.
And the reason why I dated old my one of the reasons why I like to date older men is because they're just more mature. Like guys my age, I'm just like, I couldn't have if I can't have a conversation with you, I'm not interested,
Mm.
because I can go
Yeah.
if I wanted to go, let's say I was single and I wanted to go, I wanted to go get my rocks off. I can go any of these local places. I can go in and get any man I wanted. I command attention when I walk into a room if I wanted to. But it's like, what's the point? It's like you're gonna go home, you're gonna sleep with somebody, and it's like, okay, what? Like, there's just nothing there. To me, it's just weird. But
Yeah.
there's people that are interested in that because they need to feel in temporary control, and I don't like that. I want something substantial, something that makes sense, because it's just a waste of my time, to be honest.
Yeah, I think there's probably some psychological explanation for why a woman. I think there's some maternal things there, like wanting to nurture a child, right? And then having some sort of crossover sexual fantasy with that too, right? Yeah, some weird shit that's going on there. But I'm sure there's some. I'm sure if we asked Rolo Tomasi, he'd tell us exactly what that psychological behavior is related to, and he'd be able to explain it really well. So that's definitely a Rolo Tomasi question. Yeah, but it's a sickness. That's what I'm gonna say. It's a sickness. You're sick, motherfucker. Leave these kids alone.
All right, let
Joseph
me.
Clark, 199 Super Chat. He said, I recently came across you. Keep being you, Hotep. Jesus, thank you. Appreciate you. Victor of Life, thank you, bro. Welcome. He said, who is going to tell Wendy that China owns her information because she's on TikTok? Check the TOS, Yatu Sabes. I'm pretty sure she knows that.
I'm very aware of that. So I get it. I'm fully aware of what goes on. The only thing well, actually, I'll talk about that a little bit. I'm aware that that's what goes on, but because I do a lot of digital marketing for companies, and there's not a whole lot of crypto people on TikTok. I need to have a footprint there if I want to maintain my role that I have. I'm one of the top 5 females in the space, and I'm very proud of it. I've worked hard, so I need to continue to be established on all these different social media platforms. And also, too, people in crypto will hate that I'm saying this, but if somebody wants to get my data and find out about me, they're going to do it, and it's probably not going to be from TikTok.
Yeah, yeah, and I think the problem with the crypto space is not enough titties. And I've said this before. Um, Men love titties, right? You can use titties to get men to pay attention to a lot of things. And if we use titties, we can get it. We can increase crypto adoption. And everybody's trying to remove titties from crypto. They're trying to remove
Well,
women from crypto, right?
we'll talk about that.
I know
Uh,
exactly what you're about to talk about too.
oh, did you see it?
The girl was thirst trapping.
Yeah, did you see?
Yeah, she was hot too. I was like, hey, here we
So
go.
that's my very good friend, and she's more of a shit poster. That's like her style.
You could tell, yeah.
She's already got her own thing going on. She's not trying to really work in the space too much. She is a dev. She's very intelligent. But what had happened is she had a loss. Her poor doggy had passed away, and she was like, I got to do something that makes me feel again. And there's a meme in our culture. There's a meme in crypto Twitter where a lot of traders will be like, I can't feel anything, so I'm going to go ahead and like margin trade. When you're talking about margin trading, it's trading a regular position, but using, like, essentially borrowing money, and you end up you can lose a lot of money. It's really easy to do, and I don't recommend it. But she's like, I'm just going to do something to feel it again, to feel life again, because she's so sad over her dog. So she was posting pictures, and then this other person that I've got some things going on with that a lot of people don't get along with, she wanted to insert herself because the attention was not being given. And so there was just more back and forth and fighting and blah, 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 blah going on. But as far as I don't agree with you that there needs to be titties in crypto. If there's sex workers that want to get involved in crypto and they want to show their boobs and show their bodies, that's good. But there's women, we don't really get a whole lot of respect in crypto. So I'm not 100% for showing the titties and all that type of stuff, because it's just, I feel like it's counterproductive. Yes, you're going to get more people excited about crypto, but are they really going to care, or are they just going to be there for the titties? And that's not really helping.
Yeah, you bring up valid concerns that I can't argue. I just disagree. I
I mean, people are allowed to do what they
mean,
want to.
here's the thing, right? Like, you have women in the crypto space, and there's only 5 of you, right?
I'm
So,
joking when I say that, but
right.
there's not a whole lot.
But when I say titties, I don't exactly mean thottery, right? I'm saying, like, for example, let's say God is a woman, because when I die, I want to see titties. I don't want to see a penis in my
Of
face, right?
course, right?
Right. So, same thing in crypto. It's like crypto needs more women. When I say titties, I'm just being an asshole. But,
Okay, I can get behind that.
yeah, I just think crypto needs more women. And if you get more women in, I think you'll increase adoption, because men tend to sniff behind women. But I think, the fact that they disrespect women so much is just terrible.
Well, that's why I'm not like, that's why I didn't understand when you had said titties. Like, if a girl wants to show her body, that's fine. But I don't run my brand that way, because I want to be respected for what's up here and not what my body has to offer. Because if I want to flex on people, I'll flex on people. But I'm just not interested in doing that. And I've worked very, very hard to maintain integrity and intelligence. And also, too, I've got a 3-year-old that I need to set an example for. And if she sees mommy out there half naked, then she's going to think it's okay to do that. And I want her to be queen bee and to
Se-
command.
Sex workers are going to be the critical piece to crypto adoption.
And let me get this straight. I support sex workers. I support strippers. I support porn stars. I support all that stuff. If that's what they want to do, I'm with it and I support it, just as long as they're being safe. It's just, that's just not for me. And I don't have to agree. I don't have to put myself out there like that.
Yeah, I don't like them either, but well, I don't like them at all. I don't support sex work, but I think sex work is going to be critical to the adoption of crypto, as well as drugs and guns.
Interesting that you say that. I have a buddy. He has a crypto project called Tusk, and the coin that they have is actually just for firearm dealers, and so that they can accept payment fast and all kinds of stuff. And there's no chargebacks, all different types of things. I can make an intro to you if you want.
No, thank you, but that sounds awesome. Wendy's always try to like make these intros, and I'm just like, nope, I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to talk to
All right,
him.
all right. Well,
I,
don't.
I appreciate it though. I love it. Keep it coming. Keep offering it, because eventually I'm going to be like, yeah, hook me up with that guy. But those guys, nah, no, thank you. I'll pass.
Well, you enjoyed Peter.
Peter was cool. Peter was
Okay,
cool. Yeah,
okay. I did.
that
I
was a good.
did.
That was a good intro.
All right.
That was an excellent intro. You can always hook me up with attorneys. I need them.
That I can do. I've got a whole network of attorneys because,
Attorneys and money men are only people I want to talk to.
well, you need money men. I got a couple of those.
Yeah, hook me up with the money men.
All right. Next topic. So apparently, Father's Day is offensive to people, and they want to ban it. It's offensive to
Of course they
same-sex.
do.
It's offensive to same-sex marriage and to single moms.
Fuck them.
I feel the same way. I don't. I love having. I like. Even though I get sad on Father's Day, get a little emotional. Father's Day is important. I want my daughter to, make stuff for her dad, make stuff for her uncles. I think it's important to celebrate. To celebrate men. Men are crucial to society. Without men, society wouldn't be.
Shout
And
to Chad, 199 super chat. Said pour one out for Ross Ulbricht. Yeah, word for real.
mhm.
Um, yeah. Shit. They're attacking the men again, huh? That's no surprise. Masculinity is under attack, and it's going to be under attack for the next 1,000 years. I'll not say why I know it will be under attack for the next 1,000 years, but Victor of Life knows why.
Okay.
And that's that.
All right. Last topic. Giving kids dating advice. Should parents do it or should they just let their kids while out and figure it out for themselves?
So yeah, we spoke about this on Saturday at my summit. People come to me and they say, like somebody in our Hotep Nation Discord said, "Hey, I need some consulting help for my startup. Blah blah blah. How do I go about this?" And I'm like, "Yo, it's $99. You can sign up and join my Saturday class. We chat for 2 hours on Saturdays, and I help you get your startup off the ground and pass through the different growth phases." So in the chat, basically what I said was, before my daughter's allowed to date, she has to read The Art of Seduction, and she's going to have to write a synopsis of each chapter. And
Ooh.
until she understands the dynamics of that book, she's not allowed to date.
How many chapters is that?
Let me see. Several. The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene is like the female version of the 48 Laws of Power.
Oh.
So it's a long read and it's a tough read. Um, yeah, it's a really really tough read. Maybe I can find it here.
No, that's fine. I just was curious because I'm still reading the 48 Laws of Power, and what I do with that, I have it as an audiobook, and I when I have like a couple minutes of downtime, I'll listen to it, or if I'm getting my nails done, or if I'm like laying down, I will go ahead and listen to that in the background, just because it is such a phenomenal book.
18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 33 chapters in this book, Art of Seduction. Yeah. But, I think, it's very important. So for example, I tell my kids that dating is stupid. And I highly recommend people not date, especially until you hit the age of 25 and your frontal cortex is developed and you know who you are as a person. Because if you don't know who you are, how do you even decide who's good for you, right?
Okay, I got to butt in. But what? Okay, when you are as a young adult, we crave sex. We're very all of our emotions, everything is heightened. Yes, but what do you do when you're like? So you stay a virgin until you're 25?
Yes.
Okay.
Sex is overrated. Um, yeah,
Talking realistically, though.
realistically, sex is overrated. Um, and it's not done right half the time. It's done it's done out of lust and not love. Um, a love orgasm is different from a lust orgasm. When you love somebody, you orgasm. Oh my god! Like it hits all the chakras. When it's lust, it's very unfulfilling orgasm. It's almost close to masturbation, and masturbation is just not a very fulfilling or orgasm at all. Um, Especially compared to getting head, but that's another story. Um, yeah, I just don't think people should date, especially in today's climate, because it's dangerous for both men and women. People are selfish. They only thing they want, like I always tell men, the only thing a woman wants is your time and your money. And if you ain't got time and money, you shouldn't be dating. You should only date when you got time and money because that's all she's gonna want from you. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't. What the fuck? Can you hear me? Oh, there
Yeah,
you go.
I can hear you
Yeah,
now.
yeah. A lot of people fucking programs doing some weird shit. Um, a lot of people are in relationships for themselves. It's very selfish, you know, and it's just toxic. It's a very toxic place to be. I feel like you should focus on your career and getting that off the ground, so that when you do get in a relationship, you can actually spend time with the person, right? And you're not wasting time. A lot of people waste time, and think about how many girls change their career path for their man or change what school they go to for their man. Then they break up, and it's
Hmm.
just like, you kind of should have followed that career path, or that. that college path from the very beginning. But for girls, like I said, Art Seduction is a great book because it allows them to have at least some sort of control in a relationship. I find that men usually try to control a woman in a relationship, and the Art of Seduction will teach women how to identify controlling men and how to end up controlling and mastering the man. And then for boys, I feel like um, they need to read, first of all, they need to read the Unbreakable Rules of Masculinity before you get in a relationship with a woman, to understand a woman. Because if you don't understand a woman and her cycles, oh, she about to take your ass through the ringer.
I agree with most of what you're saying. One thing I would like to add is that uh, the foundation where this all needs to start is at home with the parents, and the parents need to have this a found you know, maybe not necessarily what exactly what you're saying, but their own foundation for their kids, so that their kids have something to go back to kind of to compare a relationship to, or compare what they want or what they don't want. Because when you're just within a single family household, or single parent household, it's you don't get to see what a normal relationship is. You don't get to see, well, maybe not even normal, but you don't get to see any type of relationship, or you know, so I don't know. I think that needs to happen too, because if you don't have that, and if you don't have guidance from two parents, a man and a woman, then things are just, it's going to be harder to understand. And I feel like that's part of the problem that we are in with society, is that we don't have that strong family unit. So people are just out there doing all kinds of crazy stuff and just not respecting each other, having kids with like multiple partners, like all kinds of stuff. And it's just not good for the kids at the end of the day. That's what people you're hurting.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's why two-parent households are so important, because you want that example that kids kind of see subconsciously and kind of soak in subconsciously of how a relationship should operate, and hopefully you have a non-toxic and a healthy relationship that kids can see for themselves.
Mhm.
But I think there is an education. Like my boys, they're banned. They're going to be banned. They're athletes, so they're definitely banned from dating until, like, they can identify a good woman. And I want to meet the people you date, and I want to be able to tell you, like, look, this woman is good for you, or this dude is bad for you, so on and so forth. For my boys being athletes, um, they're gonna be chick magnets, right? Um, and they're two good looking kids, and they're gonna be chick magnets. They're gonna definitely be chick magnets, right? And a lot of women want to suck onto you, and they want to, and then you run the risk of getting one of these whores pregnant, and then now you got to deal with that whole thing, right? So yeah, I think that there's some serious education that needs to go on in the household before either sex dates, and that's something that needs to be an entire 3 month course. Like constant questioning and asking and watching videos and so on and so forth. And um, I think there's a biology aspect to this too. My book starts off with explaining the biology of a woman. In order for a man to understand a woman, you got to understand her biology. And if you don't understand her biology, you are screwed. But understanding the biology of yourself, understanding age 25 and the frontal cortex being formed, all these different things, hormones, understanding the difference between testosterone and estrogen, understanding that under the influence of alcohol, you're going to boost your estrogen levels, right? So there's a lot of science that needs to be understood. So when people, because the problem with relationships is there's going to come a time where things get rough. There's going to come a time where there's a fight and there's a conflict, and the entire relationship is going to be based upon how you guys deal with conflict and your conflict resolution. So that's where most of the focus has to be, is how do you deal with somebody who's yelling and screaming, or somebody who's having disagreements, and how do you go from there? How do you pivot from there? And what do you care about in a relationship? What are you looking for in a relationship? But most importantly, who are you?
I guess my follow up question to that, because I know it's getting close, so we got to go. But do you feel that if you're too strict with your kids, you think they're going to rebel and they're going to end up just doing things that they wouldn't have done if you were not as strict?
Yeah, if you suck as a parent, but if you're Hotep Jesus, no. I mean, it's explaining and showing examples, right? So my daughter has had examples of what just some of her female friends do, the fuckery that her female friends do. And for example, my daughter was she didn't want a sweet 16 party. She said, I don't want no party. I don't even want to be around people. She's just like her daddy. She doesn't like people, right? So I love that about her because she understands that people can suck and people do suck. And she's experienced how people suck. But again, um, as a parent, your job is to protect your children. And your job is to arm your children with the ammo that allows them to go through life safely. So you can't be there to protect them, but you also can't release an animal into the wild until it can hunt on its own.
No, I agree with that. I just feel that the only thing that concerns me is that if you're too strict with kids, that they are going to just completely rebel. But I guess there are always outliers with that. Like even if you have the good parenting, the solid foundation at home, that some kids are just going to completely go wild.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's depends on how strict you are, right? Like, I'm not strict with my kids at all. They get to do whatever the hell they want. But again, I treat them like adults, so they act like adults. So, like some of the stuff that their friends want to do, they have no desire to do. They're like, my kids don't even want to go and hang out with their friends, right? Because they have so much freedom at home. It's like it's a hassle to leave the house, right?
That's awesome, and that reminds me of my middle son. Well, actually, both of the boys, they weren't really too big on going out and hanging out with their friends and stuff because we would just be chill around the house. It's like you want to, you can do all this stuff at the house, and they didn't really want to go too much with their friends and go hang out and do like whatever. And both the boys didn't really get in trouble ever. So
Yeah, yeah. My kids don't get in any trouble at all, right? They my kids are like angels. I swear to you. Phoenix, he's my twin. He gets in more trouble than anybody, but it's like a little petty trouble, with the teacher, and he's a rebel like his daddy, right? So I don't even come down hard on him. Like, what happened? All right, well, here's how you mitigate this, right? Like, here's how we deal with teachers, right? And
mhm.
it's just everything's like learning. Everything's a learning experience. But kids are gonna do what they want to do, whether you're strict or not. You know, like I
That's true.
remember, I was dating this one girl, and her daddy was a pastor, and I went and I picked her up, and I was gonna take her to this. I had VIP tickets to this party, and then she gets in my car. She had on jeans, and then she was slick about it because while we were on the phone, she asked me like, what do you like to see a woman wear? So when she hits in my car, she takes her jeans off and she's wearing like exactly what I wanted. And I'm like, oh shit, it's about to go down. But her daddy was a pastor, right? And then we went to my place. We did the business. It was a great night. Some of the best nights I ever had. But yeah, her daddy was strict, right? But her daddy was super strict, where she wasn't even allowed to do anything. You
And
know,
that's the problem there, and that's what I was getting at. I'm glad that you said that because when you make it to where kids can't do anything, then that's when the rebellion starts. So that's why it's good to give them a little bit. That's why, like at home, even with our daughter, it's like she has the freedom to do whatever, but she's got a rule. And she has at nighttime. What we're doing is she has like 10 minutes to pick all the toys up in every room that she's been in, depending on how big of a mess it is. And if she doesn't pick those toys up under the 10 minutes, she doesn't get a sticker. And if she doesn't get a sticker, first off, the whole ritual of doing the sticker is just like awesome because both my husband, we go in there, we congratulate her, we give her high five. She's like so proud of herself that she completed this task of cleaning all the toys up, and mommy and daddy are proud. So we get to do the ritual with a sticker. And then the next day, I'll give her like a lollipop or whatever, like a strawberry lollipop, because that's her thing. Because I was bribing her with strawberry lollipops to get her to do potty training because she just couldn't, she could care less. But now it's when she picks up all her toys the next day, she'll get a strawberry lollipop. But I don't just give it to her. I make sure that she asks me, and half the time she doesn't ask me, so she doesn't get it. But it's just the ritual of the sticker.
yeah. Shout out to Chatler More 499 Super Chat. He said, old school art of courting is lost. Hell yeah. Date the family. You end up with them anyway. May as well get to know them too. Plus, it keeps
Mm-hmm.
you out of trouble.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I don't want to have to whoop nobody daddy ass. That's my biggest fear, that I got to go to jail over my daughter. That's my biggest fear, or son.
That's kind of with me too, and that's why I'm pushing for us to move out of this neighborhood is because I can't have my daughter go to school in this neighborhood. I just it's I will get in a fight with somebody's mom that's just fresh out, and I'm just not interested in it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Right. Well, you got anything else you want to touch on?
Hotep's been told you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be talking about everything that's going down. Friday night, I'll be talking to a gentleman who's going to tell us, give us some insight on a job that has almost no black men in it, and a lot of black men can get into it. And it's a lucrative career. People are making $200,000 in this career, and something that black men can have upward mobility in. So I'll have him on. It's a white guy, and I'll be talking to him. That's going to be fun. Um, yeah, that's it.
All right. We doing this next week?
Yes, we are.
All right, you guys, next Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. ET, if you want to learn more about cryptocurrency, blockchain, or trading, any of that type of stuff, if you need to get a hold of me for anything, you have any questions, I can help you. My link is in the description below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, set alerts, and share this on Twitter so that Hotep can get some more people to come over to watch some of his other stuff, because we're about getting this channel to grow and people to understand what Hotep is about, and I support it.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Love it. Love it.
All
Love
right.
it.
All right. Bye, guys. Have a good evening.